Do it.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Jessie, the founder of the Grants Hub. I'm here with Jason, who's a member of the Grants Hub. He is from Supertee, which is an incredible organisation that I'm really happy that you get to hear about today. Jason won a Westfield Local Heroes grant last year. Now, Westfield Local Heroes is open at the moment for nominations. So if you're in an organisation and you think you or your organisation should get nominated, how about jump on and prompt someone to nominate you? Or if you can think of someone who's an amazing person in your community, go and nominate them. You've still got until Thursday, the 30th of March. So winners can receive between $5,000 to $20,000. And right now we're going to hear about Jason and Supertee and what they've done with the money. So Jason, thanks so much for joining us. How about you kick it off by saying a bit about Supertee to let people know what you do and the amazing work that you're doing around Australia.
Thanks, Jessie, and thanks for having me. So Supertee is a children's charity that manufactures and distributes a new type of medical garment. So we're trying to do away with the old hospital gown, and we're trying to bring some strength through imagination to kids by giving them a costume of their very own. That's not only practical, but fun. It helps them bypass all the medical equipment that they need to have when confined to a hospital bed, and helps to increase or improve their level of morale by imaginative play. Let them become the heroes that we see these kids to be with everything that they must face. And we provide them to hospitals around Australia for free, thanks to the generosity of people like Westfield.
Now, Jason and I first met actually a few years ago at a grant awards night, and I was so impacted and resonated so closely with his story. Jason can maybe tell us a bit about that now, but he's the dad of a daughter who got very sick. I'm the mum of a son who's been very sick with 2 open heart surgeries, ongoing hospital visits, and we're in the system. Both Jason and I are in the medical system. It's not always pleasant for kids. You know, the reality is doctors and nurses try and make it as great as they can, but something as simple as medical gear, children are often left without tops on or clothing because they can't get the leads in. And what you're about to hear of what Jason's created is just this incredible solution to help kids feel amazing with some of the sickest kids right around Australia. So what does this actually look like, Jason? When you say you've created a medical garment, what are we talking about?
So we joke, we say it's so much better than a gown, but it's also much cooler than a t-shirt. But you're right, you totally get it. With these kids, and they're confined to a hospital bed, and they've got wires, they've got tubes, they've got monitoring lines. It's really hard to keep them clothed. And you know, kids they can feel uncomfortable being exposed. So we realized that, hey, there's not much available out there. So the idea came about because my daughter went through nearly 3 years of treatment for a rare type of cancer. And at the time I was a construction worker. What am I going to do to help my little girl? I don't know how to come up with a new type of drug, or there's nothing I can really do to help her apart from make her feel more comfortable. But I noticed how hard it was to change her where she would prefer to wear a t-shirt over a hospital gown or nothing at all. I thought to myself, why hasn't someone come up with something? Now, I've never made a t-shirt in my life, let alone a button, but I had a crack at it, and it was 2 years of failing forward with the help of a lot of people and friends that you make in the hospital. And in June 2018, we came out with the first version of the Supertee. And the superhero idea was inspired by my son. I'm now a father of 3. And he's a superhero fanatic. He's got all the costumes. And it just made sense. This has to be a superhero costume with everything that these kids go through. How can we help them through the power of imaginative play? How can we get them to imagine they're stronger than they think they are, and that they're in a world that they can take themselves to help them get through everything they must face. Fast forward to today, we now distribute to hospitals nationwide. And I'm very proud to say that we help thousands of kids thanks to the generosity and kindness of people like Westfields. It's grown much bigger than I imagined. And I'm no longer a tradie. I now do this full time.
So essentially for you, you saw that need being in it. You're a tradie thinking, what can I do? Essentially, you're a startup, not for profit. I mean, you're kind of moving into maybe that sort of small businessy, the next level now. But I can imagine you said failing forward. I think that's a great line. Like, there's so many people out there trying new things, and things don't always work straight away. But like, let's keep pushing forward with these ideas that are now making this huge difference. I know my son, next time he gets his open heart surgery, because we still have more coming, I will definitely be ordering one of these Supertee from Jason, because, he doesn't like being exposed, as you say. And the problem for anyone who's not aware with a normal t-shirt is you can't get lines and wires in. So the sickest kids have a lot of lines, a lot of wires. They might have drainage tubes. There's a lot going on there. For a child to be able to cover themselves up for their own mental well-being, I think, as well as maybe hiding some of that medical stuff that can be quite in their face. This is an incredible innovation, and full credit to you, Jason, for all the work that you've done and turning something that is an awful situation into something now that, not to discount how difficult that's all been, but what you've done with it and now making a difference for other families. Like, it's just incredible. So thank you on behalf of families like mine. But I know there'll be a lot of people watching this that would just love to thank you as well. Jump on there. I'm sure you've got Insta and Facebook and all the rest of it, but jump on and follow these guys and let a sick family know about it if they haven't heard of Supertee, because they're really cool. It's a very cool Supertee that Jason's created. He's on LinkedIn too, and he posts really cool stuff. So go do that. Jumping into this grant that you received, so being in that startup space, I think this is where the Westfield Local Heroes program actually really shines, because they do fund a lot of people and organisations that some of the bigger philanthropic funding, they want to see more runs on the board, or they're giving out really massive grants with quite strict criteria. They've got their reasons for doing that. But the Westfield Local Heroes program kind of comes in and funds startup not-for-profits like yours and does really amazing stuff. What are you doing with the grant money that you've received? Like, what difference does this make for you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So when we came up with the first version of the Supertee, we were thinking of how can we enhance that experience for the child. So we took it one step further, went from just being about the Supertee to now it going into a care pack with reusable packaging, with activity book and stickers. So it essentially becomes this superhero care pack that transforms this sick child into a superhero that is given to only brave and courageous children. So to answer your question, the grant is translated into these care packages that we wish to give to children's hospitals for free. And we trust the hospital staff at the nearest hospital to the Westfields that we won the grant from to hand them out to the kids. They've got the relationship with them. And the objective for us is to, with hospital gowns, let's say we were at Westfields. If you saw someone walking through Westfields wearing a hospital gown, you would know that wouldn't look right. So what you wear matters.
Yeah.
And so for us, it's how can we impact these children to the point that they feel different because they look different. So the grant funds will be in helping us to provide these to the families for free to not only feel more comfortable, but to look and feel better. That's our hope.
It's very cool. And you're about to, I think, spend the money that Westfield gave you. Where is that specifically going for you guys?
So where we won our Local Heroes grant was at Westfield Parramatta. And the nearest children's hospital to them is the Children's Hospital at Westmead, which is where my daughter went for her treatment, a hospital very close to my heart. And every 3 months, we like to make a delivery to a hospital around Australia. We do our best to try and make a delivery. We don't always make a delivery because it depends on the amount of support we have. But when we do, we like to get them out as soon as possible. So at the end of this month is where we'll be looking to make that delivery on behalf of Westfield, and just to have local families benefit from a local grant. For us, we just see ourselves as the bridge between joining those that want to help with those that deserve all the help in the world.
Oh, that's cool. Also at the Grants Hub, I sometimes talk about the benefit beyond the grant. So we've got the money that is clearly really beneficial, but sometimes there can be benefits beyond the grant, whether it's through corporate volunteering that happens or further promotion. I mean, this is probably a classic example in the end for you of where, you can actually help your organisation shine and get the message out there. Have you had benefits from this grant in that way?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, Westfield, when you look at them as a shopping center. I mean, that it's a central hub for a community, in this case, Parramatta. You're going to bring together people from all aspects of life. And when we have the opportunity to promote what we do to their patrons, you'll be surprised who you can come across with, and the amount of help that you can gather. For us, even though we're a Western Sydney charity, we're also nationwide, but we're very proud to be a Western Sydney charity, and we love engaging with the families here. And being a children's charity, it just makes sense for us to reach out to anyone that cares about the welfare of children in hospital. And Westfield provides that platform for us, whether it's through Christmas gift wrapping, which was amazing for us to have that opportunity, to have our volunteers, to the preparation of the care packs, to just being able to network with people that work with Westfields, as well as come across anyone that's visiting the centre that's learning about us for the first time. They provide that opportunity for us to showcase what we do, to share how we help children, and to invite them to get involved in help. For us, it's starting small, growing bigger from there, and that provides us the opportunity, which is great.
Yeah, that's really cool. If people are, look, I know you're getting grant wins across the board now, so it's really exciting watching an organisation like Supertee just grab grants and run with it. I should have said at the start, actually, if anyone doesn't know the Grants Hub, sorry, I'm the founder of the Grants Hub. We help people find grants right across Australia. So we're a grants directory. We've got almost 2,000 grants open pretty much at any one time. There's 5,000 grants that we're always keeping track of. So, I clearly love grants. That's what we're here talking about today. And Jason and the team are winning some really great funding at the moment. For people sitting on the fence with an opportunity like this, they're sitting there with their question like, oh, it's another grant. Is it worth putting my application in? Is it worth nominating someone? Like, what would you say to those people who are like, is it really worth it? Is it a waste of my time? Like, have you got any advice for people?
Oh, well, that's a great question. But let me start by saying I love grants too. So,
we're on the same page there.
And thank you so much for your platform for making such a difference for our charity. Look, for us being a small charity, we're trying to get our name out there. We're trying to grow our network. We're trying to grow our network of supporters. Grants are a great opportunity for you to acquire the funding you need to do that. Yes, you can look at other ways to generate funds, fundraising campaigns, what have you. I think for grants, every opportunity that you miss is money that you could have won. Yes, you invest a lot of time in applying. Yes, you're going to miss out perhaps on more than you win, but that's the nature of it. You're putting yourself out there saying, hey, I believe in this cause. I care about this. This is what I intend to do. If you provide the funding, this is what I can do with those funds. This is how I'll acknowledge you and have you involved in this. And if you believe in this, please provide me the funding for it. And if they believe in that, you'll win that grant. And if not, then you just need to find someone else that will. So I treat grants as a major source of revenue for Supertee. I think a lot of the kids that are wearing Supertees today are a result of winning a grant. And I'm a big fan. I'm yet to be convinced otherwise. So definitely consider the Westfield Local Heroes program. That's a great example of the grants that are available, that for anyone that wants to either start where we are now or someone that's established, it's a real fair grant. And check out your platform, the Grants Hub, because you have access. It's really hard to keep track of what's available, plus know when they open and close. So I don't know how charities survive without the support of grants, to be honest.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's so much funding available, and as you say, things are opening and closing, and some have really big application forms and others are quite straightforward, and it's definitely where we aim to help people at the Grants Hub. So helping organisations like yours find the grants that empowers you to do the work that you do. We're just a resource to help make stuff like Supertee happen and grow it. That's kind of my heart behind the business, I guess. And then programs like this one, from Westfield and other grants as well. But this one, it's an easy application form. It's not, you're not having to spend 40 hours on this, this nomination for this program. And some are like that. But I think if you're considering grants, if maybe you haven't done it before, if you've got this idea and it's just little and you want to grow it, like this is a perfect grant for you to be looking at. Also young people, like I know young people often will sit back and feel like they don't, maybe it's imposter syndrome, or maybe it's they just don't want to put themselves out there. But I think particularly anyone who's young, who wants to apply, older people too, everyone of every age. But if sometimes you don't think you're eligible, or you shouldn't, or you'll never get the grant, this is a really good program for you to be looking for. And as I mentioned earlier, this program really showcases the people behind it too, like celebrating Jason and what he's created. Most grants are for the organisation generically. This one just celebrates, it helps our community celebrate amazing people like Jason who've been through tough stuff and come up with this amazing not-for-profit. So look, I'm a big fan of the program, but I have spoken with Pam, the creator of it, quite a few years ago now, probably 3 years ago. Her heart behind this is just gold. So look, it's been great to speak with you, Jason. Probably a final question. What's next for Supertee?
Well, I can tell you what the mountaintop view looks like from our perspective. We would love for any time a child is given bad news, for them to have a Supertee waiting for them for free because of the kindness or generosity of someone else out there, such as Westfield's. For us, what these kids go through and what they must face, I think they deserve all our support. They've inspired me to keep going, to leave a former career to do this full time. And I would love to offer children a range of different costumes for them to choose the hero that they want to be, whether that is a princess, whether that is, a pilot to a space ranger or anyone of that matter. I think that a lot of fun and imagination can go a long way to helping kids in hospital. I'm very grateful to Westfields for providing us the support, for being recognized in the local community as someone that is doing great work. I've actually won the Local Heroes Award twice, which is amazing.
Wow.
And
that's really cool.
Yeah, twice. Yeah. And it's humbling. It's very humbling, but it also reassures you, for those that do have imposter syndrome, if you do put yourself out there and you do have the support of the local community and they do vote for you, that lets you know that you've got something special and you've got to keep going and don't give up, because when you've got the support of the community, then you know that you're doing something good, and the world needs more of it. So please consider doing it.
Yeah, no, that's a great message. And I think, as you said again, failing forward, like they're tough things that you do, and people in not-for-profits are doing tough work, but failing forward and getting people like Westfield and funders behind you to back you, to give you that faith maybe on those days when you're thinking, what am I doing? I think it's a very powerful thing to keep us motivated, to keep achieving these great things that you're doing. So look, thanks once again. A final reminder for anyone who missed it at the start, we're talking about the Westfield Local Heroes program. Nominations close Thursday the 30th of March. So if you have not yet nominated anyone, or your organisation has not been nominated, prompt someone to do it. Grants are $5,000 to $20,000, and as you've heard today, can make a huge difference to organisations like Supertee. So congratulations once again, Jason, and we look forward to watching you and hearing more about the amazing things that you're doing.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.